Do you remember that quote? When something goes wrong, just yell plot twist and move on. That's kind of how I'm living my life these days because there's power in the pivot. You don't have to stay where you've always been. And quite honestly, I think it would be weird if you did. The human experience is all about evolving, growing, being influenced, changing. And personally, I think tuning in to who you are and who you're growing into. So, Exhibit A, I'm about to move across the country for the second time in a year because I didn't like where I moved the first time, quite honestly. And I could feel embarrassed about it not working out, but I'm choosing to feel excited and proud that I gave it a try. And that, my friends, is the power of the pivot. I have pivoted so many different times, so many different directions in my life, from corporate America to dropping out to work at a cafe, U-hauling it into a relationship that didn't work. But my point is, I followed my heart in all of these instances and I learned. I kind of failed miserably, but the important thing was that I learned what I didn't want. And you can't get what you want unless you try out the things that you don't. So every one of these pivots or failures or change in directions has pointed me closer to who I am within my soul, my purpose, and my ultimate self expression. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about that in normalizing changing directions. For a long time, I visioned my life in one area. I said, I am going to live in a happening little downtown apartment above a cafe, and I'm going to work in communications and marketing, and I'm going to work my way up the ladder and be a team leader, and I am going to help influence and grow people who are younger with all of the 10,000 hours that I've put in. And I did that. And I'm here now, and I don't like it. So it's time to pivot, more or less. Don't get me wrong, I have to sit in gratitude and pride for where I've made it. This is something past me dreamt of. But taking the time to step back, reflect, and really think about where it landed me is, I think, more important than anything else. Because now, from this vantage point, I'm able to look and see that this isn't really as fulfilling as I thought it would be. Or it was, and I've outgrown it. And we are always evolving, stretching, turning into new versions of ourselves. And we need our lives to reflect that. So you should honestly never stay stuck. You're not a tree. If you don't like where you are, then you move. I know it's easier said than done, and it takes a lot of strength and courage and grit to get here, but it's a muscle that you can build. Once you do it once, you prove to yourself that it's possible, and then rinse, repeat. The risks get higher, the rewards get more exciting, and you learn on a deeper level about you. It's a hiccup, nothing to be concerned about. And the value in all of these trials and errors is that when you get closer to you, the things that feel most alive and aligned, your life just becomes rich, rich beyond belief. You have pivoted past relationships, jobs, people, circumstances, housing, um, housing, cities, areas, locations, goals, dreams. And that's okay to change your mind. If anything, let this video be permission that you can change your mind any damn time you please. Life is way too short to spend any minute in a situation that drains you, makes you unhappy, or isn't your full potential. And there is a time and a place for rest, recalibration, healing. That is another video, but I do think it's wildly important to reset in the season of winter. Um, yeah, so pivoting. I do have ADHD, so this may seem a little all over the place, but my hope is that maybe you are also neurodivergent and can enjoy listening in and we can body double. Maybe you're driving, maybe you are cleaning your house, etc., or you're painting, doing a craft, crocheting, and in this season, I'm all about slow media. Screens are bad, phones bad. Um, Another episode. But all that to say, whatever you're thinking about, that small tug on your heart, you need to start listening to it seriously and giving it space. For me, that looked like January of this year. I'd moved to Denver. It was a city way too big for me, and I was having a hard time finding community in the area that I lived. So I began journaling out what is most important to me in my life and where can I find those things. And it was community, like minded peers, people who are movers and makers looking to invest their time in community building and art, self expression. And it was also space. I need mental space. I need quiet. Denver is not the most quiet. And I need physical space just to create and dream and scheme with all of my art. Spread out vision board, magazine clippings up the wall. That is essential for me and my needs. So as of January, these were the intentions. I sat with it. I looked at apartments every week. I started letting myself dream about what I wanted out of this next chapter because I was really unhappy here for the most part of the year. And I knew something had to change. I was listening to myself, and it was scary and hard because I displaced my entire life and ended up feeling more alone than I ever had. So I found a program in Tulsa, Oklahoma that will pay you to move there for a year, test it out. And that's not even the best part. There is a built in community, a Slack channel with 3,000 participants on it, and the retention rate is, I think, around 70%. So it's a community that has been invested in. There's art fellowships, green spaces, a lot of creative people, and some Southern hospitality. There's an argument whether Oklahoma is South or West. So let me know if you have any thoughts on that. Weigh in. So, all that to say, my big pivot is Michigan to Denver to Oklahoma. Sometimes pivots don't make sense, but as long as you listen to where your heart is telling you to go, I think that you will be just fine. I think you will find what you need, and you just have to trust. So, jump after leap after jump, you learn and you discern that feeling of trust within yourself. And honestly, pivots happen when you take the time to slow down and listen to yourself. I spent a decade in corporate marketing, managing social accounts, paid social, copywriting, pandering to specific audiences, and it truly sucked my soul. I was really good at it, and I got lost in the sauce of praise and that paycheck, those golden handcuffs, but slowly it was draining me. And we all know about our attention spans and phones and how toxic they are. So I've started telling myself, phone bad, in hopes of like subliminally connecting the fact that the phone isn't serving me to me using it in my hand all the time. Um, it's a hard addiction to break. I know I'm trying different app blockers. I still struggle, but I recognize that the phone is my vice and gets in the way of my purest form of expression and listening to my head, listening to what I want. It's so easy to numb. There are substances, people, relationships, toxic personal patterns, so many ways that you could distract yourself from like your inner knowing and your inner guidance. But I'm telling you, to pivot, that is absolutely necessary to clear space and listen to yourself. Start journaling and pulling on those threads of ideas that interest you. If you keep a practice where you write it all down, you'll start to see themes over time. Pivoting isn't something that happens overnight, it is something that takes time. It takes a lot of time to figure out where you want to go, because pivoting is not about acting rationally, acting out of passion or fear. It's about sitting with what you know is most true for you and then taking small action on it. I think it would be overwhelming if we just decided in one weekend to quit our job and move to the Bahamas. That might work for some people, sure. But I'm going to bet that there was a seed of inspiration planted months or years prior that prepared them for that moment. So, pivoting is not about acting out your every women desire, especially if you have ADHD. Gotta think that shit through, my guys. All right, so because this is my first longer form gab sesh, let me know what you think. I'm gonna try to wrap it up here. It might be a little windy still, but I think there's a lot of value in hearing this stuff. If 10 years ago I stumbled across something like this, I think I would have felt more affirmed in all of the ways that I was feeling and my inner knowing, because you really have to build the trust with yourself. That is something that I have learned and I have had to hone. And there's no way around it. You really can't take a leap or pivot if you don't believe that you're meant to do that and you have the capacity to. And building trust is also something that comes with time. I'm 33 years old, and in therapy right now, I'm still working on how to trust myself. And what it comes from is small daily actions, following through on what you said you were going to do for you and not blowing it off. So over time, you repeat and you prove to yourself that you can do what you say you are going to do and you can depend on you. And in fact, you're the only person in this entire world you can truly depend on. I know there are some really great, dependable relationships, but as somebody who is single and parentless, trying to find her place in the world, I've kind of taken on this Miss Independent persona to really support myself in this chapter. And so that pivot is interesting in itself because now I'm realizing that I need family and I need partnership to thrive and be my best self. So opening up to the idea and changing. We're all really we're all really malleable, and like clay, we're not meant to just stay in one shape. So now that I've built the trust with myself, I know where I want to go next. It's daunting. The act of pivoting itself and making the leap and being in the middle of it is hella scary and arguably the hardest part. Good God. But I have found support. I'm asking friends for specific things that I know that I need. I'm giving myself time off work. I've started packing weeks ago, and I am ready. I have a game plan to support myself through this chapter and give myself a lot of grace. I think that could be the key. I'm generally really hard on myself, and this mess is driving my busy mind insane, but I know it's temporary. The pivot is uncomfortable. There's nothing happening. Like it's a liminal space between where you are and where you want to be, and you can't quite see it yet. So it's a dark hallway. You're in between doorways, and it's a portal essentially. It's a space where you can grow and set intentions for the next chapter. And so that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm clearing space, I'm minimizing my entire life. I'm going to try a capsule wardrobe and just simplify. I think that's the word of the year. Simplify, reduce decision fatigue, and breathe through it. Just trusting in the process is part of trusting yourself and trusting that you knew the right thing for you. And because it's right, it could also be uncomfortable. Those two things go hand in hand. There's no way to avoid it. And so the next 3 weeks, I have a lot of discomfort to work through. And I just need to focus on staying grounded. I'll get through it. I'll get to the other side. And I have to stay focused on the end goal. Same with you. If you're pivoting, remember your why. That will carry you through farther than you know. It will remind you to stay strong and true to yourself. If nothing else from this video, I hope you at least think about what's not working and maybe journal out some alternatives. It could feel impossible. I understand that. I know what it's like to feel stuck. But if you give your goals and your vision a little itty bitty space every day, it will start compounding over time and you will begin to live your dream reality. Okay, a little woo, but hey, it works. Thanks for tuning in, and I can't wait to chat with you again. Bye. That's a horrible wave. I don't know how to end these. Oh boy.
Oh my god. Hello, welcome. Hello.
Okay, my favorite party story is that I got my senior pictures taken by this little woman named Lee. She's very nice. My mom's coworker. And Lee, she had polyps on her vocal cords. And this is in no way like making fun. It's just a sweet inside joke with my dad, but she
Talk like this.
and the funny part really is that I got my photos taken with Clydesdales. I'm not a horse girl. They were beautiful. My boyfriend's family had a farm and award-winning Clydesdales down the dirt road from me in northern Michigan where I grew up. So I thought, hey, why not use this beautiful horse as a prop? So the entirety of our photography session, Lee kept saying,
Wow, look at that horse. That's a beautiful horse.
oh, am I going to hell? Okay, on that note, goodbye.